Here's your news for November 28, 2019. We're starting off by looking at Raw today, as more news comes out about Seth Rollins' promo. Addressing the Chicago crowd's CM Punk chants, this action didn't go down well with Vince McMahon, and what Rollins said was later edited out of the YouTube video and replays. Speaking to Kiss 103.5, the former Universal Champion explained why he's been provoking Punk, saying, "He spent 5 years on hiatus. Good for him. Hopefully he's got his head right. But he comes back to sit behind a desk and talk? That's not very CM Punk. That's not the guy they want. That's not what they want." Punk's return as part of WWE Backstage is still one of the biggest news stories of the year, but that doesn't mean the former world champion will be having a match. While Rollins and countless fans want to see the best in the world return to the ring, perhaps at WrestleMania 36, that decision all comes down to the straight-edge superstar. Speaking of Backstage, this week's show didn't feature CM Punk, but that didn't stop the show from performing well. Despite dropping to 121,000 from the week prior's 180,000, the show remained in the top 150 watched shows for its 11 p.m. Eastern time slot after breaking into the demographic for the November 20th show. The .5 rating for 18 to 49-year-olds was about half what it was a week ago, but it seems the show has finally found its level after a month on the air. Though this week's Backstage didn't have CM Punk, it did have Triple H, so it's possible fans tuned in to see the game. We'll just have to wait and see what happens for next week's show, but as of this video, it's unclear whether Punk will appear. Time to get into the Wednesday Night Wars now, and NXT was in a pretty good mood after winning at Survivor Series. Kicking off with a celebration, the party was short-lived, as Tommaso Ciampa once again staked his claim on regaining the NXT Championship. As if that wasn't bad enough for Adam Cole, Finn Balor is also eyeing up his title as well, with a match between the inaugural Universal Champion and the Blackheart scheduled for later. Though Cole had his hands full in the opener, that didn't stop the Undisputed Era from faring well in the show's opener, as Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong retained the tag titles against Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic. Strong was put in to replace the injured Bobby Fish, but even this change didn't stop the group from walking away still champions. In his NXT on USA debut, Mansoor picked up another big win, this time over Shane Thorne, while Candice LeRae got the DQ win over Dakota Kai thanks to the newfound mean streak of the New Zealand superstar. In our second title match of the night, Lio Rush was able to retain his NXT Cruiserweight Championship against Akira Tozawa, targeting Akira's back to get the win. With this being Rush's third title match in 2 weeks, the Man of the Hour is establishing himself as a fighting champion, but we'll have to see how long this reign can last with his die-hard attitude. In the ring, Xia Li defeated Vanessa Bourne in convincing fashion, but this was followed by a special appearance by NXT champion Shayna Baszler. Flanked by Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir, the Queen of Spades spoke about getting the final win for NXT at Survivor Series, but it didn't take long for Rhea Ripley to emerge, reminding the women's champion that she defeated Baszler at War Games. Promising to take Baszler's NXT Women's Championship, Ripley has sent a clear message to Baszler in her pursuit of the title, as fans wonder whether Ripley is the one to finally take the gold from the former UFC fighter. In our main event, Finn Balor faced off against Tommaso Ciampa in a match with plenty on the line. Though a title shot wasn't literally up for grabs, whoever won this contest would certainly have rights to claim one, and Balor did just that thanks to an assist by Cole. After getting the big win over Ciampa, it seemed like Balor and Cole were in cahoots, as the Panama City Playboy posed with the Prince in the ring, but Balor's Pele kick to the Universal Champion made his feelings clear. It's obvious that Balor isn't a friend of anybody in NXT and has his eyes set on becoming NXT Champion again, something that may happen very soon. Over on TNT, AEW was showcasing their latest Dynamite, as the show kicked off with another celebration by Chris Jericho. With the Inner Circle in tow, as well as a real-life Jerigoat, the highlight of the segment may have been the gift of Jericho's father, Ted Irvine, who rallied the Chicago crowd with his New York Rangers jersey. When Jericho took umbrage with Justin Roberts' tone, the Circle quickly assaulted the helpless announcer, but were chased off by the marching band, who were revealed to be SCU. After plenty of grandstanding by the AEW World Champion, it was time for our first match, as the Best Friends defeated the Lucha Bros, despite the Bros jumping the pair from behind before the match got underway. In women's tag team action, Bea Priestley and Emi Sakura defeated Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander, but the match wasn't exactly the best. Whilst Shida is still the #1 contender for Riho's AEW Women's title, you wouldn't have known it from this match, as she took a backseat to the others, and the company has its work cut out to make her a more credible threat. In his first match back since coming up short at Full Gear, Cody Rhodes was in action, though still had plenty of bruises and wounds to show fans how tough he is. On commentary, Jim Ross pointed out that there's plenty of injuries that fans can't see, such as bruised ribs, but we believe never being able to challenge for the AEW World title hurts more than anything. Despite this, Rhodes got the win over the forgettable Matt Nix, but Rhodes was laid to waste by the new stable of The Blade, The Butcher, and The Bunny post-match. In a rematch for All Out, Pac and Kenny Omega battled once again, and this time it was Omega to get his win back over the former WWE superstar. Unsurprisingly, this is a great match between the two, but it's interesting that Pac's two big wins in AEW so far, over Omega and Jon Moxley, have been rendered moot due to 50-50 booking. In the finals of the Diamond Dozen brackets, MJF picked up the pinfall on Adam Page, pinning the Hangman with Cody's finisher to seal the deal. Post-match, Diamond Dallas Page appeared to present the ring to MJF, and though he admitted he was disappointed in his betrayal of Cody Rhodes, he offered him a handshake. Refusing to shake hands, this friction caused Wardlow to get involved, but the monstrous heavy didn't fight, perhaps because he didn't want to get schooled by the 63-year-old Hall of Famer. After an interview with Dustin Rhodes, it was time for the main event, as Jericho defended the AEW Championship against Scorpio Sky. After a hard-fought match that could have gone either way, Jericho locked in the Lion Tamer to get the submission win, but continued the assault after the bell. That was until Jon Moxley appeared and spooked Le Champion, and whilst Moxley and Jericho didn't come to blows, their final moments staring each other down will definitely have fans tuning in next week. It's really hard to say which promotion was the better show this week, as both built nicely to the future, but we'll have to give it to NXT this time, as their multiple title matches trumped some questionable booking by Dynamite. We are looking at SmackDown now, and though the WWE Universe has been promised a new member of the Firefly Funhouse, folks should lower their expectations. Earlier this week, Erica Gimbel, a wardrobe designer and stylist for WWE, posted a video of a gothic dress with the Funhouse music over it, and many speculated that this would finally be Liv Morgan's moment as Sister Abigail. One person who wasn't quite convinced was Kirsten Ashley, the co-owner of Bell to Bells, and after some digging, claimed that Gimbel was a fraud. In her investigation, Ashley was initially blocked from seeing Gimbel's account, despite never interacting before, but was able to get around this later on. Noticing a strangely high number of retweets and likes, but no comments on Gimbel's tweets, Ashley quickly thought Gimbel could be a scammer, and reminded of people taking over accounts in the past claiming to have an in with WWE just to feed the reporters fake scoops. After enlisting the help of Sean Ross Sapp and Warren Hayes, Ashley found out even more, and discovered that the dress shown in the video was actually for a Marine Corps ball. In addition, the last 4 photos from the Gimbel account didn't have her face included, and while it's unclear whether Gimbel's account has been hacked by someone else, or if this is just one big scam by Gimbel herself, it's truly bizarre to think what is happening and just what exactly will unfold this Friday on SmackDown. More unfortunate news next, as Jerry Lawler's Dinner with the King podcast used to be co-hosted by Glenn Moore, until Moore used his position to scam fans out of thousands of dollars. His con wasn't just limited to fans though, as Moore also scammed a pediatric center charity in a real scumbag move, and now a court has made a ruling that people aren't going to like. As the court ruled that Moore wasn't acting as an employee of Lawler at the time, this means that the King can't be held accountable for paying Moore's victims, and with Moore's whereabouts currently unknown, it could be a while before fans see their money back. Jason Lurie was one person who got scammed by Moore after he commissioned Lawler, via Moore, for a 4x5 foot painting of his cat. Lurie got the idea for the piece after hearing the pair discuss commissions on the podcast, but after donating plenty of money, he never saw his money or his art. Speaking to Bodyslam.net, Lurie said he was suing for a total of $1,750, and as many of the initial transactions were instructed to pay as the friends and family route on PayPal, they didn't have buyer's insurance. Though Lawler later promised the painting for Lurie, Jason declined, admitting he was already out of money thanks to both Moore's fraud and now legal fees. After hearing the November 26th court case that Moore wasn't seen as an agent of Lawler at the time, Lurie disagreed with the verdict, saying that Moore taking requests for the King's art clearly made him connected. While Lawler was advised by his attorneys to pay Lurie himself as a goodwill gesture, the Hall of Famer reportedly wanted to see what the judge had to say. Bodyslam reported, "Bodyslam has learned that Jerry testified twice. Lawler testified that he told Glenn the price would be $3,000 for the 4x5 painting, and that was because he didn't want to do the work. He said, I told Glenn the price for this cat painting was $3,000. I thought I priced it high enough to scare off Mr. Lurie. It clearly did not." He was then asked if he wanted to do the painting that was discussed on the podcast. Lawler replies, "No, a painting of this size would take potentially months and would be much more expensive." Though an appeal has been filed, this could take anywhere from 6 months to a year, as it seems Lurie and Moore's other victims aren't going to be receiving their money or their art anytime soon. We're headed back to WWE now, and Corey Graves' latest edition of After the Bell started off in a unique way. During NXT TakeOver War Games, Graves mocked the commentary of Mauro Ranallo, who is a known sufferer of bipolar disorder, and after countless fans followed Graves' example and mocked the commentator, Ranallo deactivated his account. Despite mocking Dave Meltzer and Ranallo's friend Frank Shamrock after the incident, Graves showed a softer side during this week's edition of his podcast, saying, "This past Saturday, during the TakeOver War Games event, I sent out a tweet. It was an unpopular opinion, as I often do with the intention of stirring up a little controversy, maybe have something fun to talk about on TV or here on the show. It was maybe not the most professional way to go about things, and it was never meant to offend or disrespect or disparage anybody. That was never my intention. If it was taken as such, I apologize deeply. That was not my intention. I would never intentionally cause anybody undue stress, especially a coworker, so I apologize." Ranallo, who has been mocked and belittled in the past by JBL as well, wasn't at NXT this week, instead being replaced by Tom Phillips, and WWE covered for his absence at Survivor Series, claiming Ranallo had lost his voice. On this week's NXT, Beth Phoenix said she is looking forward to seeing Ranallo again next week, but time will tell whether he feels ready to go. Many fans have claimed that Ranallo is too thin-skinned for the business, while others have said that Graves should have treated Mauro with respect, and if he had an issue with his commentary, should have discussed it backstage. According to Pro Wrestling Sheet, Graves intended on the tweet being a part of the feud between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, as the report read, "According to sources, Corey wrote those tweets to play into the brand warfare element of Survivor Series, and the SmackDown announcer planned to bring them up on commentary in a joking manner when he was joined by Mauro at the desk the following day." Obviously, Ranallo didn't enjoy these comments or the abuse he received by fans of the savior of misbehavior afterwards, as though he and Shamrock did arrive at Survivor Series during the day, he left a short time later. It's unknown whether Graves will receive any punishment from WWE, as he has made a public apology, but we hope that the SmackDown commentator also reached out to Ranallo personally to make things right. And finally today we're ending with a love story, as one WWE superstar has formed a budding relationship with an unlikely special someone. After Dave Batista announced he was once again single, one fan said that the former world champion should date Dana Brooke, and it seems the overlooked WWE superstar agrees with that. In a series of tweets by both, there's been some serious flirting going on, as the animal seems to have rebounded nicely from his last relationship. In one of her latest tweets, Brooke said she would DM the Marvel megastar her number and is looking forward to using some moves on him that she'll apply in the ring. Batista hasn't exactly shied away from reciprocating these feelings, complimenting Brooke on her physique and getting ready to hang out with her in the future. There's no word when this meeting will happen, though Brooke did mention that WrestleMania 36 will be in Tampa next year, which is the same city where Batista lives. While Dana will be hoping to get on the card, though we doubt she will given her lack of proper feuds, it's good to know that she'll have plenty to keep her occupied during the week, namely her budding relationship with the former World Heavyweight Champion, as Batista is set to become the next big power couple in wrestling.